Good afternoon and welcome to a SAABTalk mini-sode. I'm Barry Brown. Just went out for a spirited drive, so the fans are running. But I thought I'd do a little video concerning 3 simple codes that tend to show up on almost all of these 2.8 V6s, and they seem to get the most questions asked about it on forums and Facebook posts and what have you. Remember, if you own one of these cars, check out 2.8 Alliance on Facebook. A lot of knowledgeable people in there. Even if they don't do things like you like, they know how to get it done. So if you're in the Tri-Cities, Tennessee, where I am, you need to go to Pal's, get you a milkshake. This one's strawberry. They make the best milkshakes in the Tri-Cities. Very delicious. Wrist check today, wearing the TSO C-Star from 2011. There's a new model out now. It's not as good. Maybe I'll talk about that in a separate video. And in my opinion, it's not as good. It's good looking, but I like this one better. Anyway, let's talk about these codes. The first code we're going to talk about that commonly shows up on these vehicles is a PO 496, which is a purge valve code or an evap code. I've had this code, had it when I bought it. You get no drivability symptoms. What happened to me was that, if you put $5 worth of gas in it, it was fine. But if you put a full tank in it, the car wouldn't start, just crank, crank, crank. Well, if that code comes on, it's the purge valve solenoid. And I already removed our upper PCM cable to try to show you, because I'm not going to take all this apart. But that guy lives, if I can get it to focus, right here, and it's right under these hoses. This hose that typically breaks, he's right here. To get to that, you have to remove, obviously, this vacuum hose junction from the back of the intake manifold. To get to that, I'll try to put a link in the description of the part. But if that code comes up, that's basically all you need to replace. Again, you need to be careful with these brake hoses, these vacuum hoses. They do get extremely brittle and they break, and everybody breaks them. Maybe have some on backup. I don't know. I mean, if your car has over 100,000 miles like this one does, you might as well just buy them and replace them. One thing in my spark plug video I told you about was just how I moved these, just loosened them enough to get them to move in and out of the way. I forgot. I've done this before. These are held in with clips if you've never done it. And I actually took mine out, so my hoses move a little bit freer than maybe they do on a standard car, so just be very careful with that. But PO 496, your guy's literally right there. It looks like a canister. I really can't see it on the screen, but it looks like a canister. It sits right in here. Purge valve. This is a picture of the purge valves and part numbers from Aero parts. The next common code we want to talk about is a PO 234 overboost code. The symptoms with this code is that all of a sudden your turbo boost will go way up, and then your car shuts down in a limp mode and you're literally doing 5 miles an hour. Well, if that happens, 2 things you want to check. First, you want to make sure that you don't have a vacuum leak. These hoses do get brittle over time. There's 3 of them that actually come off the boost control solenoid. You want to check all 3, make sure one of them just hasn't been left off or has a leak in it. If everything seems fine in that regard, typically it's the boost control valve itself. He is right here, right in front of the turbo. It has a clip, a plastic clip that sits back there that just mounts it to this bracket. Now, if you take it off for any reason, the clip gets brittle, it breaks. This one's been replaced, it's brand new. But you just literally unclip it, remove the hoses. These things are gonna be hard to get off, so be very careful or have replacements ready, and replace that. It should take care of your overboost code. This is the boost control valve and part number you're looking for from Aero parts. The last common code I'm going to talk about is a P0089. That is a a fuel code. It means that the fuel pump is not, or fuel pressure that has been requested is not being seen at the engine. Now, this code is kind of controversial in my opinion, because some people say it's this, it causes it, some people say it's that. Saab used to tell you that you have to have the fuel pump replaced every single time. I used to get that code about every day that it was over 85 or 90 degrees religiously. Come on. And I had no drivability problems. Basically with that code, the first thing in my opinion that you want to do is look for obstructions. This car actually, and I didn't know it, has a slightly crimped fuel line where somebody ran it over with a curve, but it doesn't seem to impede the flow of the fuel. One thing I did read on 2.8 Alliance on Facebook is that if you, release the pressure off the rail, obviously, I don't know if you're going to pull your fuse to let it use up the fuel or what, but you can actually remove the fuel pressure sensor itself. Now, this is a sensor that reads the fuel pressure at the manifold, and it's a direct line right into that fuel line. Basically, you want to take GM Top Clean, put that in there, let it run through, and then hook everything back up and let it run. Do it 2 or 3 times. I actually did this process. I'll see if I can find a link to the GM Top Clean, but you need to be on 2.8 Alliance to search for that article. And I have not had this code come up in 2 years, which is actually pretty impressive. I mean, I don't know if something changed in the car or what have you, but it has gone away. I haven't had that issue at all. So it may be worth noting, but the only reason I tried it is because I've seen people with Saabs put 4 and 5 fuel pumps in these things and the code keeps coming back. So if that's the case, probably not the fuel pump. So that's my opinion. Somebody's gonna get on here and go, well, what do you know? You don't know nothing. Well, you're right. I don't know anything, but I've been in cars long enough to know that if insanity is trying to do the same thing over and over and replicate, and get a different result. It's not happening. So I can tell you in my experience, that worked. It may not work in your experience, but it is definitely something to try. I might save you $400 or $500. So that is the P0089 code. This is the part number for the GM AC Delco upper engine cleaner. And that's really all from this this little episode. I just kind of wanted to go over some codes. I noticed somebody posted a comment about wanting to know more about that purge valve code in my spark plug video, so I did want to go ahead and kind of go over that. So that's it. Remember, just watch those brake lines in the back. They do get pretty brittle. I did want to show that I wet sanded and clear coated my headlamps. I think they turned out pretty good. Of course, there's bugs on them now. It's hot. We live in the South, but these headlamps are very expensive. They're not cheap to replace. They're getting hard to find. They're bad for getting yellow right around here, down in this area. So sanded it all off, wet sanded it with multiple grits. Went over it with a clear coat. I think they look really good. Just trying to keep it looking nice for as long as I can. Headlights sell cars. You can have the nicest car from here back and maybe have taken meticulous care of it. If you see yellow headlights, you're going to think the car is a pile of crap. I'm telling you. I do it every day. When I've worked in the car business my whole life. If I see yellow headlights, I can tell you right now, somebody either doesn't take care of their car, or it looks like it. You assume somebody doesn't take care of their car. But I mean, it's like bathrooms and kitchens and houses. It makes the car look better on resale. But anyway, I thank you guys for watching. Until next time, thank you very much. I'm Barry Brown. You've been great. This is SAABTalk.